Guys, I'm Amy. I feel guided to come on and do a reading for the Divine Masculine Collective. So I'm going to start with the Wildwood Tarot. So, Spirit, what is it this collective needs to see and hear today? Does the Masculine Collective need to see and hear at this time? Okay, thank you, Spirit. So we're going to start with the Four of Arrows Rest. Okay, this is on page 88. That number could be relevant for you. Recharging after a period of stressful activity, work, or emotional trauma. Allow time for the imagination to sojourn into the other world to renew and rejuvenate vitality. In this stressful and demanding world, we sometimes forget that rest is a necessary part of a healthy lifestyle and sleep a vital part of recuperation in the healing process. This primal mechanism is not just for the well-being of the body, but the mind and imagination as well. Muscles need time to repair and rebuild after strenuous exertion, and the functions of the human psyche need dreams and deep sleep to aid the process, bringing order to what sometimes seems the chaos and random machinations of daily life. Sometimes inspiration and insight can also come through restful meditation and lucid dreaming. Welcome these insights joyfully and take note of what your subconscious is saying to you. One of the first human instincts when confronted with a survival situation in any wild environment is to find or build a shelter to provide protection from the elements and act as a safe place to rest and sleep in safety. Without that basic human security requirement, survivors often become disoriented, make poor decisions, and become unable to physically complete simple and necessary tasks, eventually losing hope. Rest and sleep are vital to restore stamina and vitality. Okay, next we have number 2 in the major arcana, the Seer, that came out. Okay, placed at the heart of the wheel in the wildwood in its quadrant of water, the Seer represents insight that's gained from the stillness and inwardness of the sojourn with the hooded man. She stands at the heart of an interpersonal universe and can mediate that knowledge and help to externalize this energy into power, wisdom, or creative endeavor in the material world. The Seer acts as an oracular mediator of the feminine intuitive and imaginative principle, but her mediation is based on grounded energy and skill. This is symbolized by her feathered cloak, which represents the flight of thought and intellect, matured and stabilized through her deep-rooted power, grounded in the memory of the conscious herb. The Seer stands at the center both of the wheel and of the individual inner world facing the shaman. She acts not only as a guide to the soul, but as a catalyst for the manifestation of creative and artistic work. Ideals may be filtered through the shadowy realm of dreams and trance-like states, but the inner archetypal mediator that forms these ideals into works of literature, song, or dance is the Seer. It is she who inspires the emotional link to a book, or piece of music, or brings a tear to the eye at the end of an emotional film, or laughter at a funny story. With her inherent ability to balance emotion, intellect, and willpower, she spurs us to create change in our material world and is a skilled mediator of all the elemental forces found within the wildwood. She fosters the positive exercise of will manifested by emotion and commitment and resulting in other material effect. This is one of the purest and most blessed forms of earth magic. The time has come to focus your power and let it flow through you. Many dreams or desires related to the creative emotional processes are ready to be applied in your day-to-day life, and you must now give vent to those hidden or suppressed longings. This may also relate to healing, sexual relationships, or partnerships. Now, the manifestation of inner spiritual or esoteric insights into your practical and physical daily life will bring profound rewards and results. It is a sign of maturity. The seer also relates to creative impulses such as art, mechanical skills and crafts, and the joy of bringing pleasure and knowledge to others. See, and bringing pleasure and knowledge to others is it for me, and that's why I do this tarot reading. Next, we have the Blasted Oak, number 16 in the Major Arcana. And I just noticed 3 of the 4 cards that came out are Major Arcana. So I feel like you're going through a lot of major transformations right now. Just as the universe has the power to create, so it also has the power to destroy. The sudden catabolic power of natural catastrophe and disaster is almost unimaginable. With a sideways flick of its tail, the hurricane can uproot a bridge, just as a shudder in the earth's crust can reduce whole cities to rubble and send tidal shockwaves around the world. On the human level, we build our seemingly indestructible edifices of theory, technical endeavor, and civilization, believing they're immovable and eternal. We wrap ourselves in the trappings of power and position, but in the end we own nothing. We only borrow for the time we are here. All we truly have is what we have learned. This image combines 2 of the traditional tarot cards, the Hanged Man and the Tower. Here, the great forest oak is shattered by the power of the storm. For those who have climbed a tree and lashed themselves to a branch, the fall may be long. So too, the arrogance and pretension of material life may be torn apart by a single act of nature or fate. But the fire that blasts the limb also burns the bonds that have held us in a position of false security. Just as the hanged man is caught in a state of divine sacrifice and linked to the threefold death, here in the blasted oak, the tree itself is shaken and scarred. Likewise, the tower is shattered by the storm, and believing in the illusion of material power can only end in spiritual isolation, stagnation, and collapse. But even as we fall, the power that floods our senses with pain also cleanses and burns away the illusions and falsehoods. As our hands reach for the stable earth, the power grounds itself through us. Our senses are alive with the heat of life. Our emotions are ablaze with passion. Perhaps we've forgotten the intensity of desire, the need to keep struggling for understanding. The essence of our true strength and enduring spirit cannot be bought with gold or position or grandiose esoteric theory. It is found in the ashes and flames of nature's own wild card. What appears to be a random dissolution or destruction of your beliefs and relationships is timely and natural. The sea swallows what was built on shifting sand, and you are liberated from being a powerless victim. Now you have a base on which your inner strength can adapt and evolve. This may happen suddenly with shocking speed. The trauma may leave you stunned and confused, but the fiery blast that sent you falling to earth has also jolted you from a state of trance that allowed you to avoid dealing with profound and fundamental issues. Don't be angry or bitter at this passing, for whatever has gone never really belonged to you. Be patient, wait, and learn the process of loss. Okay, so you may have some endings coming about, some losses coming about that are going to be difficult to deal with, but they're for your highest good. And then finally we have the Stag, number 8, the Major Arcana that came out. Okay, the Stag's on page 52, this number, and 53. Those numbers could be relevant for you. The concepts of forgiveness and reward are not appropriate here. They are human ideals which have no reality and natural lore. One reaps what one has sown. Just as right or generous action brings fulfillment and peace, Greed and vengeful desire bring bitter loneliness and disillusion. Balance will be maintained by the planet's ecosystem. The justice it dispenses is long lasting and it is both merciful and irrevocable in its final conclusions. We are guests of the earth, not its masters. And like ill-mannered children at a banquet offered freely by a generous and forgiving host, we behave badly and are in danger of spoiling the gathering for everyone else. Our thoughtless greed and selfishness have seriously disturbed the ecosystem. The fine balance and interdependent connection between nature and humans is pivotal. If the balance is disturbed by any inappropriate or thoughtless action, there will surely be a natural reaction and the balance will have to be reset. On an individual level, this may involve haunting guilt over a wrong action or a subconscious feeling of bitterness because of an unfair situation. It signifies the karmic will of justice that rules our basic concepts of right and wrong, and the inescapable faith that justice will always be done. On a global level, it may mean that the thoughtless rape of the rainforest will one day severely affect the weather patterns, and the polluted seas will one day produce poisoned fish that will be inedible. One day, in the not too distant future, our host, the Earth, may have no option but to give notice that the pendulum of justice has swung away from us, and we will no longer be welcome at the banquet. Both on an individual level and as a civilization, we are responsible for our actions and must be aware of their consequences. On a personal level, some kind of adjustment or interaction has taken place. The key word here is responsibility. We must, as individuals, constantly observe the rules and regulations of society, and these can fluctuate as the views and knowledge of civilization change. Whether on a political or moral level, we subconsciously know when a realignment of our perception is due. This is a time to welcome the justice that has arrived with the coming of spring and the fire of creation. Face the coming season with honesty and integrity and trust to right and appropriate action. Okay, so I feel like you're really being asked to make sure that you're paying attention to everything you're putting out there to the earth, right? I'm going to leave this reading here. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.